Hello, my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful bookish besties. It is time for my end of the year book freakout tag of 2023. Isn't that so exciting? I know you guys have all been sitting at home, waiting, thinking, when is Trixie going to give us the end of the year book tag? And the answer is now, today. Here it is, guys. The tag. I do have some rules for this one. The first one being that I'm not including books I used for the first wrap up because that would be repetitive. So I'm only going to be picking books I read after September 5th because that's when I posted my mid-year freakout tag. It was very late, I know, but so only things from September 5th to today, which is December 20th. And I try not to repeat books too much, but there are a few repeats, I will say. I added a second book for the repeats to make up for it though, so you can't be too mad at me. I'm so excited actually. I love doing these videos because they're so fun to look back on. I'm like, what did I like in 2023? I'm gonna look back at this video in 2028 and it's gonna be so interesting. And isn't this theme so cute? I love the pink and the red and the hearts is adorable. It's so cute. Anyway, let's get on with it. The first question is, what is the best book you read? And my answer, 100%, I don't even have to think about it. It is Kiss the Sky by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is the best book I've ever read. Not even in 2023. Ever. I'm obsessed with Connor and Rose and this story. I love it so much. I connected with Rose on a deeper level than I've ever connected with any character before. And I think that's part of the reason why I love it so much. And I also I love the banter and the found family theme. Found family themes, I've realized, are like my favorite thing in books. Well, one of my favorite things. Like, I eat up those books every time. And I also love the smut. I can't forget that. Connor is he's just too good. There's also just so many beautiful quotes that I wrote down in my notes because I never want to forget them. Like, I have over 50. It's crazy, actually. I don't think I've ever written that many down from a book, and I just love this book so much. I can't even express it into words. Like, I can just say I love it, but I feel like I'm not like really articulating it well. Like, I can't, like, you know what I mean? Like, I can just say it, but it's not, you guys can't know how much I love it unless you're in my head and you're not. Like, me just saying I love it, like, it does not express how much I love it. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I love everything about this. I can't get it out of my head. I fall asleep replaying my favorite scenes in my head sometimes. And like when I'm walking to class, I think about it. I'm in the car, I think about it. Like, I think about it all day long. And when I wake up, sometimes they will just instantly in my head. Like, what? Sometimes I forget they're fictional people, but that's okay. They feel real to me. And when I say they're living rent free in my head, like, I mean it. I wouldn't have it any other way. I love this so much. Fair warning though, this isn't the last you'll hear about this book because I love it so much. It's always my thoughts, as I said. So sometimes when for these other questions, like, this was the first thing that came to mind, and I did put it on here. But then I added a second book, like I said, to make up for it. So, okay, next question: best sequel you read? Dun 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 dun. What's it gonna be? Oh, I added two. Okay, my first one is Ricochet by, again, Krista and Becca Ritchie. I've just fallen in love with their series this year. So, but I did include another one, as you can see, because I didn't want to just rave about how much I love Krista and Becca Ritchie throughout this entire video. That would be kind of redundant. So there's two. My first one, like I said, Ricochet. It's the sequel to Addicted to You. I gave this 5 stars. This book focuses on Lily's sex addiction and her trying to overcome it. And I really liked watching Lily's journey. And we also got some great scenes of Connor and Rose from Lily's point of view that live rent-free in my head. I just love them so much. And then I also added The Way I Am Now by Amber Smith. This is the sequel to The Way I Used to Be, which is one of my favorite books. I didn't love this one quite as much, but I still really liked it. I gave 5 stars. Amber Smith's writing is just so easy to consume. Like, I like the way she tells Eden's story. I feel like it's a quick read. It's just good. I like the way it's written, and I love the hero so much. Josh is the sweetest, most supportive boy ever. I love him. And I also liked watching Eden take her life back after what happened to her in the first book. She was making a conscious effort to reconnect with the people in her life, and it was really heartwarming to see, and I really, really enjoyed this conclusion to the first book. And then next question: new release you haven't read yet but want to? Okay, so Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross is my first one. I'm so hyped up for this book. I love the cover so much. Also, this is stunning. Hopefully the inside is just as good. I think it will be because the first book was amazing. Beautiful writing. I don't think this book has even come out yet. I think it comes out on December 26th, if I'm remembering correctly. Might be a little off on that, but whatever. But with the way the first book ended, I need to read this right now. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And then the second book is The Mystery Guest by Nita Prose. I want to read more thrillers next year, and I know Nita Prose is like widely acclaimed, and one of her books got like best thriller of the year. So I want to try one of her books, and I'm gonna start with this one because it's the newest release, and I like reading new releases. So also I like that cover. It's cool. Okay, and then the next question is, what is the most anticipated release you have for the next year? And I have so many. As you can see, there's so many. Okay. The first one I added was The Teacher by Frida McFadden. This is my most anticipated thriller for the next year. The blurb was really intriguing, and I love her fast-paced, like somewhat humorous writing, so I think this will deliver. I'm excited. And then I have Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. This is Grumpy Sunshine, and I just love Tessa Bailey's banter, and with a Grumpy Sunshine dynamic, there's a lot of room for banter, so I don't think this will disappoint me. And I've also never read a sports romance about a golfer before, and I think the hero is one based on his fit, so that's kind of interesting, something new. And then I have Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicerelli. This one, it's enemies to lovers about a witch and a witch hunter, and I just think that sounds so delicious. I'm gonna love it. And then Funny Story by Emily Henry, because duh, it's Emily Henry. I have loved every single book I've read by her, and I have no doubt this will be the same. And then The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. Leigh Bardugo has become my favorite author, and I will eat up anything she writes, including this. And then we have The Rule Book by Sarah Adams. This is Enemies to Lovers and Second Chance, which are my two favorite tropes, so I'm gonna devour this one too. And I also like her writing. It's very funny and just fun and light, and I'm very excited. And then we have Play Along by Liz Tomford. After the snippets we got of Isaiah and Kennedy and Caught Up, this is my most anticipated release for next year. Well, maybe not my most anticipated, but it is one of them. I love the banter, and Liz Tomford's books are always lengthy, so that's fun. Like I think I'm gonna enjoy having a lot of pages of them interacting. Like we'll get 500 pages of Isaiah and Kennedy. That's just so exciting. That's so exciting. And then I have Daydream by Hannah Grace. I'm really excited about this one because my sister never reads unless it's a Hannah Grace book, and I just like bonding with someone about books, especially my sister. So I'm really excited for us to read this together over the summer. We've already planned it. It's gonna be so much fun, and the cover is so cute. I love pink and purple together. And then I didn't include this on here because I recently found out about it, but Krista and Becca Ritchie are writing a series called Cobalt Empire, starring Connor and Rose's children. The first book is expected to come out next year, and I'm so excited. I'm definitely gonna read it. I'm no doubt in my mind. Like, I don't want this world to end ever, and I just hope Krista and Becca Ritchie write their books, and then they also write books about the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren, and they just never stop. And I will read them all because I love Connor and Rose. And then there's another one I'm excited about, but the release date has been pushed back like 3 years at this point. I'm starting to doubt whether we'll ever get it. And that book is The Vintage Club by Danielle Laurie. She wrote the Maid series. We got the first chapter of it at the end of The Darkest Temptation, and it had me hooked, but the author has been on a little hiatus, and no one really knows if she's ever going to make a comeback because it's been years since she's written a book. I still check her Instagram for updates like weekly. I will go on her Instagram, and most of the time there's nothing there, but sometimes she'll like surprise us. But there has been no release date for any books, not the Vintage Club, not anything. But if she does decide to publish the Vintage Club, I'll be the first one to read the book. Mark my words, I'm reading it on release day. I've been waiting for that for so long. Okay, biggest disappointment. Ooh, we're gonna share some tea. It Is My Fault by Mercedes Ron. I've already said this. I talked about this in my wrap up, but I'm actually embarrassed with how excited I was to read this book. I heard Enemies Lovers and book to movie adaptation, and I started jumping off the walls. I was so excited. I started checking the library catalog every day, waiting for them to get this book. And when they did, I was the first person on the hold list, and I got it right away. Like, I was the first person to read it. And I was so excited. But I was so disappointed. This was so cliche, and the conversations were repetitive. The characters were insufferable, like some of the worst characters ever. Noah was very bratty and whiny and entitled, and Nicholas is a misogynist. And he's disgusting. So that's awesome. And the romance was toxic. And yeah, also, Nicholas's best friend's name is Lion. Lion. Be so for real. Like, I can't take it seriously. I really could not. It was just so bad. One of the worst books I've ever read. It was a 1-star, obviously. And there's some things that I want to share, but I can't because there'd be spoilers. But some of the things that really pissed me off about this. I don't even know what to say because I can't say without spoiling, but they made me so mad. When I finished this book, I had to go to my sister's room and rant, and I ranted for like 30 minutes. I kid you not, about how much I hated this book. So that should tell you everything you need to know. I genuinely don't know how I managed to finish it. Like, you cannot pay me to read the rest of this trilogy. Seriously. Biggest surprise. Okay, this one a little happier. Glad we're doing something a little more cheerful. Okay, so I got two. We have Hopeless by Elsie Silver. I wasn't interested in Bo and Bailey based on the snippets we got of them in the other 4 books. Like, they just weren't doing it for me. I just didn't care, really. But this one ended up being my favorite in the whole series, so that was a surprise. But Bailey was so different from what I expected, and the book had the best smut. And then another one that surprised me was The Coworker by Frida McFadden. I went to this book with absolutely no expectations. I picked it up on a whim because I wanted to read at least one of the Goodreads Awards nominees for Best Mystery Thriller, and I was just like, why not this one? Just picked it up, and it ended up blowing me away. Actually, I loved the fast-paced writing, the little twists, the interesting characters. It was so much better than I expected. It was really, really good. Highly recommend. Favorite new author? I think I already mentioned it. I kind of spoiled it in my own video, but yeah. Do you see this beautiful person right here, sitting on a throne like a queen? Oh, and peep her feet. This is my queen, Leigh Bardugo. Recently discovered her. I've finished 4 of her books now. I read the Shadow and Bone trilogy, and I read the Six of Crows, the first book. And now I'm obsessed with her. Out of the 4 books I've read from her, 4 of them were 5-star reads. She's 4 for 4. Amazing. Incredible. The plots are always so creative and fun and unique, and I just love the found family theme that's often found in her books. And I loved all the characters and the distinct personalities and the witty banter between all the characters. And she's just such an amazing author, and I would want to read everything she's ever written. And I also need to watch the show after I'm done with the Grishaverse. Okay. Moving on. I love her so much. Okay, new fictional crush. Who's it gonna be? Ooh. Okay, as you guys can see, my fictional crush couple is Connor and Rose from Kiss the Sky, because smart people are hot, confident people are hot, driven people are hot, and they are all those things and more. But since I said no repeats, they're not gonna be my main answer. See, they're a little smaller. See, I am sticking to the no repeat thing, kind of. I'm trying to, but I couldn't not mention them for this question because they are so hot, and I love them so much, and I would date them so fast. But my second answer is The Right Move by Liz Tomford. Right, ladies and gentlemen, he is the best book boyfriend. First of all, he's great in bed. Second of all, he's so sweet. Like, the little things he did for Indy throughout the book, like making her coffee every morning and watering her plants while she traveled and building her a bookshelf, etc., etc. He's just so perfect. And I know Ryan's whole thing is like quiet love, but I want to shout from the rooftops how much I love this man. I want a man like him, but unfortunately, men like him don't exist. It's very sad. It's tragic, actually. New favorite character. Okay. I did it again. Okay, so there's so many characters I love. Okay, but I narrowed it down to 1 girl, 1 boy, and 1 Rose Calloway. I'm sorry, but I couldn't not put her here because she has become my favorite character in the universe ever. I'm talking in film, in books, like ever. She's my favorite character ever. So she deserves to be here above the others. That's why the cover of Kiss the Sky is positioned higher than the other covers. That was intentional. I was making a statement. I love Rose Calloway Cobalt so much. I love her confidence, her fierceness, her ambition, the way she cares about people so deeply. She gives all of herself to the people she loves, and I just love that so much. She's the person you want on your side. She's so opinionated and argumentative also, and I just love it. Like, speak your truth, queen. I love her so much, and I related to her on so many levels. Like, her internal struggles, I could relate to that so much. Like, her tendency to overthink, that is me, and her struggles with intimacy and her fears surrounding children and motherhood. I just connected with her like on a spiritual level, and that's what cements her as my favorite ever. And I just love her personality and her, like I said, her fierceness. And then, but my other girly pop that I love so much is Nesta Archiron. Can you guys tell I have a thing for the Mean Girls trope? Especially misunderstood Mean Girls with Secret Hearts of Gold. I just eat it up every time. It's so overdone, but I will devour these characters. I love them. And then for Guy, Nikolai from the Shadow and Bone trilogy. He's not even the main character or the main love interest, but he stole the show in every scene he was in. He was so witty and clever and fun, and I just love him so much. I can't wait to read more about him in his duology. You guys don't know how excited I am to read his books. A book that made me cry. Okay. Okay. Here we are again. So realistically, my answer is once again Kiss This Guy, because that book made me cry more than any other book from the second half of the year, but I didn't want to repeat it, so I added a second book to make up for the repetition. See? And you guys cannot be too mad at me about the repetition, because this book is all I think about. Like, you should be happy for me that I found something that I'm so passionate about, that I love so much. I hope you guys have a book that makes you feel this way, like the way Kiss This Guy makes me feel, or that you find one soon, because this feeling is everything to me. Kiss This Guy, this book made me cry 6 times while I was reading it, and I also randomly cry in the car sometimes when I think about them. Like, after reading it, like, I still cried about them. They make me so emotional. I love them so much. Like, there's something so cathartic about crying in the car. I can't explain it. So, like, when I'm in the car driving to work or driving back from work, sometimes I'll just think about them, and I'll just get a little emotional. And then the other book that made me cry was My Two Elaines by Martin J. Shriver and Kathy Bretton Butcher. I was trying so hard not to cry while I was reading this, because I was in the car with other people and I was going to school the first time I started reading it. So I didn't want my face to be like tear stained, because obviously I'm going to be in the classroom and also I'm around people. That's so embarrassing. But this was so heartbreaking and so well written. And the fact that it's a true story, I could not. Like, I cried so much. It made me cry within the first 5 pages. I was a wreck. But you guys would be proud of me. Maybe not. But when I was in the car, I like turned toward the window and I don't think anyone noticed. I was crying very quietly. So it was discreet. But yeah, this made me cry a lot. And then a book that made you happy, going on the opposite scale, Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. Wes and Liz are so cute and precious, and I just love them so much. And then after reading Better Than the Movies, I read Better Than the Prom and all the other short stories about them. There's like 5 or 6, I think. I forget, but Better Than the Prom represents all those short stories. I didn't feel like including all the little pictures, but that's what that represents. My favorite one was the road trip one, in case anyone's curious. It had me giggling and kicking my feet, and Wes is such a simp, and simp boys make me happy, so that's the main reason why those books made me so happy. And I also included Betting on You in here. I started this morning and I'm only 26% through it, so I might be speaking too soon here, but I think it's gonna be a 5-star. It is bringing me so much joy. The banter is so fun and entertaining, and the characters are starting to scheme, and I love schemy storylines. So I'm having a really good old jolly time. It's like the Parent Trap movie, except the schemers are lovers, and they're not twin sisters, but reluctant allies instead. And it's just so fun. I love the plot, and there's lots of joy happening in my brain right now, thanks to these books. I'm having a great time. So what's the takeaway from this? Lynn Painter books make you happy. Her books are so cute and wholesome and rom-com-y. Highly, highly recommend if you want like a lighter read. But there's some like heavy topics, but it's still really happy. So they've been making me giggle so much. Most beautiful book you bought? I kind of cheated on this one because I didn't buy it. My sister bought it for my birthday, but I'm counting it anyway because it's close enough. It is the most beautiful book I own. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever owned, in fact. Like, when you take the dust jacket off, are you guys seeing this? Are you guys seeing the beautiful designs with the peacocks and the flowers and those little swirly things? Like, are you kidding? My jaw is on the floor. It is beautiful. Best gift ever. And look at the back of it with those, like, it's like dark with the flowers. It's like kind of eerie, but still like so beautiful. And then we also have this green design with the peacocks again when you open it up, and it's just so pretty. But don't let the pretty peacocks and flowers fool you though, because this book is creepy. It's incredibly creepy. The part I'm at right now is so freaky, but I love it. I love gothic fantasy. I think I might finish this book today, which is sad because I want to hold this gorgeous piece of art forever. I love holding it in my hands and just staring at it. Okay, so which books do you need to read next year? There are so many books that I need to read next year that I split it into 2 slides. This isn't all. You think this is it? It's not. This is not. Oh, what was I gonna say? Not including the new releases, because we already talked about my most anticipated releases, and we can just assume that I'm gonna read all those, so I'm not gonna include those in here, even though I really, really want to read them. This slide represents the series I'm in the middle of that I want to finish next year. So first off, Fuel the Fire. That's the one I'm most excited about, as you guys would probably tell by how much I love Kiss This Guy. I'm going to finish that series next year for sure, and I'm going to be really sad when it's over, but then I can read about their children, so it's fine. And then we have The Cursed by Harper L. Woods. I think the series is called Coven of Bones or something. This is following The Coven. And I really like that, and I like the way it ended. It was crazy. It was wild. So I'm really excited to see what happens next. And we have Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. I love the fine print, and this comes after that. I definitely want to read this. And then the third book, which I forgot the name of that one, but that's okay. And then Two Truths and a Lie. This is part of the Lion Game series. This is the third book in the series. I read this book or the first two books I read like months ago, and then I stopped reading it, and I don't know why, because it kind of ended on a cliffhanger in the second book, and I still don't know who murdered Sutton, and I need to know. Like, I want to continue the series. I just took a break from it, and now it's like hard to get back into it, but I do want to finish it because it was good. And we have Scarlet. This is part of the Lunar Chronicles. I don't know why, but I'm like not motivated to read this book at all. But I do. I'm gonna finish it. And then we have Finale, the last book in the Hush Hush saga. If this was not the last book, I would have given up on this series because I'm just kind of over it by now. But now there's like one book left, so I'm not gonna leave it. I'll just finish it. And then Iron Flame I still have to read, and Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, and not even just Crooked Kingdom, but I'm gonna finish the Grishaverse. I want to read it all of it. And then, like I said, there's more. This slide represents a series I want to start and hopefully finish by the end of 2024. As you guys can tell, I'm feeling very, very ambitious. So the first one I added was A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Everyone talks about this book and hypes it up so much. I need to sit down and read it. And then we have Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. This is a fantasy. It is a thick one. It is a big boy. And so is the second one. And the third one's coming out January 30th. And the cover for that is beautiful. So I'll read that. Hopefully. I also really want to read Throne of Glass. I don't know which one to start with. I feel like maybe Throne of Glass because that one's finished at least. There's that. And then this is completely different. The next one is so different. It's not a fantasy. It's Damaged Like Us by Krista Becca Ritchie. Like I said, after I finish the Addicted Calloway Sister series, I'm going to start reading about their kids. And then we have Belladonna by Edelyn Grace. The cover for the second book is so eye-catching. Like, every time I see it at a bookstore, like, my eyes immediately go to it because the spine, it has like an eyeball on it, and it looks so cool. And that's honestly what's making me want to read this series. And I also think like death is a character or something. I feel like I heard that, and that just sounds so cool. I love the concept. So I'll be reading this. And then the Inheritance Games, this is super hyped up. And people say it's fast-paced, so I feel like it'll be a quick, I'm reading it and then I'm done. So, I don't know. But I feel like I'll read it. And then we have The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer. I saw an out-of-context quote on Instagram that was so beautiful, and I immediately added it to my TBR. And then we have The Testing by Joelle Charbonnet? I don't know. But this one, my sister loves this book. This is her favorite book. She talks about it all the time. It's dystopian. I don't know anything else about it besides the fact that it is dystopian. My sister loves it, but she's always hyping this book up. And I told her, I was like, should I read it? And she got really excited when I said that, so I'm gonna read it. And then I also want to read The Maze Runner. I've watched the movies, but I watched them so long ago that I did forget something. So I feel like maybe some of the plot twists will get me still. But I am kind of scared because sci-fi is not my thing really. But maybe this will turn me into a sci-fi girly. We shall see. And then I have Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. This is Enemies to Lovers Fantasy Edition. Say less. And we have Guild by Raven Kennedy. I think this is also Enemies to Lovers Fantasy Edition. And I think the series is finishing in 2024. That's why I want to read it, because yeah, it's finished, so I can just read it all the way through, and then it's over, and I don't have to wait a million years for the next book. And then we have The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I've tried to read this book so many times. This is gonna be my fourth time reading it, but this time I'm gonna read it through. Mark my words. The other 3 times, I don't know. I just could not get into it at all, and I just kept putting it down. But 2024, this year, I'm gonna finish it through just so I can say I read it, and I will give you guys my thoughts. This is the last prompt. My favorite quote is from my favorite author. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? Wait a minute. Wait 1 minute. I just realized, because now I'm talking about Leigh Bardugo, I didn't put Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo on here. So add that to the list. I'm trying to get through an entire backlist by the end of 2024 because I'm obsessed with the way she writes, like I said. If anyone can make me love dark academia books, it's her. Okay, now moving on to favorite quote. Pretend you guys didn't know what the prompt was ahead of time, and that I didn't already kind of show you. Okay, so my favorite quote was from Six of Crows. Okay, let's just start reading it, I guess. I don't know why I paused so much. So the quote is, many boys will bring you flowers, but someday you'll meet a boy who will learn your favorite flower, your favorite song, your favorite sweet, and even if he is too poor to give you any of them, it won't matter because he will have taken the time to get to know you as no one else does. Only that boy earns your heart. This is on page 136, by the way. Are you kidding? That is so cute. And look at the cover of this book. Like, this does not look like the type of book to give you super soft, sweet, romantic quotes like this, but it is. And also, like, the blurb, also, it's like about a heist. So, like, you wouldn't think, oh, you're gonna get quotes like this that are so soft. But there's so many good quotes like this that just had me kicking my feet in the air. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's adorable. And Leigh Bardugo's other books are the same. Like, so many quotable lines. I just love her writing so much, like I said. Should I do a reading vlog for Crooked Kingdom? I've kind of been thinking about it because I kind of want to, like, because I just have such a fun time reading her books, and I feel like it might be fun to, like, go back to them. Like, you know what I mean? No, you don't, because I'm not articulating what I'm thinking well, but, like, when I watch the videos, I can go back to how I felt the first time. I'm also going to do a reading vlog for Fuel the Fire, I think, because I'm obsessed with Connor and Rose, and I want to show you guys why I love them so much. You guys deserve to know. So that's what I'm thinking. Hopefully I'll actually do it and I don't chicken out. I've never done a reading vlog before and I'm not really sure how the format's gonna work, but I'm gonna try to figure it out. So you guys can look forward to that. And maybe they'll be out next year, maybe this yeah, actually next year. Don't be holding your breath for this year. I just realized it's December 20th. And now I'm rambling because I never know how to end these videos. Should I just say bye and call it a day? Yeah, okay, bye. And you guys can answer the questions in the comment section if you want. I think that'd be fun. I never get comments really, but go crazy if you want. Okay, bye-bye. Love you guys. See you next time.